Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer dana, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Welcome, everyone. We are just waiting for Joel to come back online. He was here. We all saw him. I'm sure he'll be back. Well, shall we sit together? I'll ring the bell.
Friends, thank you. I'm going to ring a bell and ask you to join me in saying the robe chant 3 times, and then I'll ring the bell 3 times at the end. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Friends, thank you for being here today. There was a flurry of activity about 15 minutes ago. My internet went out. My house is being worked on. This happened to me about a year ago, and it went out about 5 times over the course of an hour and a half. I hope that won't happen today. I actually have an explanation for it today. There's work being done on my house, and the electrician had turned the circuit off to the room that, that had the server in it, the modem in it. So that's back on, and I hope this will be much more stable. I understand that Josh Gifford has agreed to step in uh, if needed. So I hope that won't be needed. But anyway, I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful to be here today. My name is Joel Barna. I have been practicing with Appamada since, I believe, 2007. I am one of 3 entrusted teachers in the Appamada Sangha, along with Laurie Winnett and Todd Bankler. Um, and I'm very grateful to be among the entrusted teachers, Trudy and Josh and Suzanne also, who are among the people that Flint has offered the opportunity to host inquiry. Uh,
Well, it seems we've lost Joel again. I think he's still there somewhere, but maybe just frozen. Josh, what would you like to do?
Well, I could say some words, and if Joel comes back, I can step back.
Thank you. Maybe it'll be a co-led inquiry today.
Yeah. So many years ago, when Trudy and I were in our late 20s, we lived in an ashram for a while, and uh, in the evenings you could go and meet the guru. hundreds of people there, and sometimes the guru would point to one of uh, the, the swamis, who were the monks, and just say, I want you to talk for 10 minutes on surrender. And a monk would stand up without any preparation and offer something on surrender, or whatever topic he or she had been asked to share. And for a young shy person as I was, I thought, gosh, I could never ever do anything like that. It would just be too insurmountable to stand up in front of a large group and just say something that wasn't planned without a safety net. And I remember one of my favorite teachers from China, Joshu, his teacher, I think, was Nansen. And there's a koan about a cat. And the cat, apparently, the story goes that something like this, the cat was really liked by the kitchen people because it caught mice and rats and kept the kitchen clear, but it was really disliked by people who were in charge of the temple because it disturbed the flow of the ceremonies and zazen. And this developed into a big argument between the people in the zendo and the people in the kitchen. And Nansen sort of gathered them all together and said, if none of you at this moment can say a word of Zen, the cat gets it. I'll cut the cat in two. And of course, it's very hard to know what a word of Zen is and to respond in the moment. And the story goes that the cat was cut in two. Whether this actually happened or whether it's symbolic of something much more deep and meaningful, which I think it is. I think it has to do with our sense of duality and our sense of wholeness when we explore that koan. I always think also about those monks whose teacher said, if none of you can say a word of Zen at this moment, the cat gets it, because they were arguing so much about this cat. And so when Joel didn't appear, those stories went through my head from a long, long time ago. And from my reading of this very kind of probably the most visceral and troubling koan in Zen literature. So if I think about, the span of my life from that time to reading the cat koan, I was thinking about how we describe our lives. If we go to a party or we meet somebody we don't know and they say, well, what were you? What did you do? And it's very easy to offer a kind of very neutral answer. We describe what we did, and some things about ourselves. But also sometimes I think to ourselves, we kind of have ways of thinking about how our life has been. And I've been thinking recently about having lived quite a long life, and having had many challenges and wonders and joys and disappointments, I was thinking, well, in what way has each of those events in my life actually allowed me to see into the mystery? And that would be a really interesting, dinner party question. If somebody says, "Oh, what were you?" They don't ask you, "In what way have you seen into the mystery of your life through the things you've done?" And I was thinking about the opportunities that all those difficulties and worries and disappointments and pressures actually gave me opportunities into seeing into the depths of my life, even if at that point I was applying a different kind of framework for what success would look like. And in fact, it's the difficulties and the failures that seem to me to have been the threshold for the deepening of my life and the deepening of practice, not what I could conventionally call a success. And so I've been kind of going through in my mind some of the wonderful things that have happened in my life and actually reframing um, some of those things in a way that actually has led me to be who I am right now. And I wouldn't be who I am right now if I hadn't been a shy 28-year-old afraid of talking in front of people. I wouldn't have had those opportunities to deepen my life and see into the mystery. And so I'm really curious about um, how we sometimes evaluate things with certain criteria, which are really not helpful and not kind, and also not um, supple and agile enough to actually see through into something really quite beautiful and profound. And that's what I've been grateful for in the last few weeks in the way that I think about things. And it's given me a lot of freedom and a lot of joy. And sometimes it's just funny the way I frame things in the past and now feel differently about them. So there's also some forgiveness for um, for my actions and for my thoughts and for my attitudes. So I guess, that's a curious question for me. And I would be curious if Joel doesn't come back to kind of explore that with you and how you see it, how you feel about some of those aspects of the way we see into the mystery of our lives. So thank you very much.
And just say that I'm very deeply moved, Josh, not only by your willingness to step forward and your incredible agility in this arena and role, but just the specifics of what you're speaking to are really applicable for me right now. And just this reframing that I feel I'm in the midst of. I've had a bit of a health crisis for over the winter, and it has really given me the opportunity to examine where I'm putting my energy and truly where my heart is. And so I'm very grateful for it, and um, wonderfully, just it feels like synchronicity that you were able to speak so clearly to it today. I'm really taking it in. Thank you.
Well, I'm very touched that a health crisis, can be something that you turn towards. It's not easy. Um, it's probably swimming against the stream in some ways, and what we kind of do in this practice, and it feels really touching to hear that you're turning towards it, and the tenderness which I kind of feel in your voice towards the experience.
Yeah, it felt like what you were doing was just painting a picture of a beautiful life, um, and through your words and your stories, and yeah, that touched me very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, John.
Hello, Josh. Wow, gosh, I am in awe of your ability to step in like that and give a beautiful Dharma talk. And I too have reflected in very similar way uh, on my life. And one thing that I am constantly amazed by is how during the most difficult period of my life, when I know perfectly well in retrospect that I was pushing in the way that I used to do, pushing and pushing as hard as I possibly could in the direction which I now see as totally unhelpful
Mm,
and unhealthy, uh, nonetheless gave me the biggest lesson in my life that I needed,
mm,
and I'm in awe of that.
mm.
That even we don't need to be in the flow to learn. That we can be pushing it as hard as we can against the stream, and still we're given experiences that we need.
Yeah, I think you point to something for me quite important that I used to think, well, you do need to be in the flow to learn, whatever that means. But it seems to me sometimes there are real gifts around that kind of edge we have of something quite difficult, and meeting that, maybe not feeling in the flow, but it's there to be met.
Mm.
Mm,
Mm. And I think the fact that it did turn out to be just the lesson I needed,
mm,
though it was horribly hard, um, has helped me increase my sense of trust that yeah, just that. I'll leave it there.
Well, I've witnessed it, John, since I think we met in 2006, and
Did we really? Wow.
I
Yes.
kind of witnessed that arc in you,
Mm.
which has been
Mm.
really heartening for me to witness it. So thank you,
Mm. Mm.
thank you for
So glad for you as a companion. Yeah.
you too. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey.
Ooh, I didn't expect to be sitting with you here, like you didn't expect to be sitting there.
Who did I?
Oh, just lovely. I just, yeah, I too just was really appreciating your willingness, Josh, and that stepping forward that we have to do. And it really made me smile because I have a little story which is about I went to see my 4-year-old granddaughter at the weekend, and you know very well about 3 and 4-year-olds. You've got several in your own family, and I often take her something, nothing of value, but just a little something. And what arrived in my hands before I went was a little tiny box that was really pretty. And I thought, what can I put in it? And I didn't that place of not really thinking, something again arrived in my hand. And the thing that arrived in my hand was it had probably been a pendant, but it was like a donut.
Okay.
So it was round and it had a hole in the middle. And so she looked at this, she picked it up, she said, "What is this for?" So I said, "Wow, this is a magic stone. And if you look through the hole in the middle, it reframes the world." It changes the world. So that made me giggle, because I thought, here you are, and inviting us to look at our lives and think of how we describe it. And that process of having a different relationship with it, I guess, is the thing. So my granddaughter has a stone that she's going to be able to do that with on a regular basis.
Well, that's a very beautiful kind of emblem of what we've been exploring, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing to look through something and think this can reframe something for me. And I love your playfulness about it. how you made that up on the spot.
Bit like you. and didn't make it up either.
Yeah. No. But it's like, how are you going, if a child will ask you, and it's a little bit like, will anyone say a word of Zen? It's an invitation to meet that 4-year-old where they are, with some words, with some images.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to also say, in front of all of these people who are here, thank you for being my teacher, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Josh.
Hmm.
Gosh, my heart is beating so incredibly fast. It feels really daunting for me to just step forwards like this, let alone do what you did. So I'm really grateful for you stepping forwards. And I just, it was something about what Lynn said in response to your invitation that prompted me to think about an opportunity I've had over the last few days to look back at myself 17 years ago. It was 17 years ago that a group of us sang in Morecambe after the Cockling disaster, when 23 people died out on the bay. And on Sunday, which was the 20th anniversary of that event, we sang again. And then somebody shared a video of us singing in 2007. And it's quite startling to see yourself, 17 years ago. Well, it's startling for me. And I thought she had no idea what was to come. And so there was a kind of tenderness in me when I, saw her and others who have also changed, aged. But I also, it gave me an opportunity also to reflect on the fact that, like, as you were saying, something about having been through so much since then that has really shaped me. And I've been shaped in the context of being a member of this Sangha. And I'm just so unbelievably grateful for that.
It's what you're describing is very is very kind of poignant, because I have that feeling of you looking at this this woman 17 years ago, and kind of almost kindness, like you don't know what's coming, and how you're going to meet it.
Yeah.
There's a real, I think there's a real tenderness sometimes when we look back, isn't there? Which you're feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah. And such huge gratitude that despite, I would not, I mean, it kind of might seem crazy to her for me to say, despite knowing you're going to go through some really tough times, I wouldn't change that.
Yeah, that is kind of true acceptance, actually. And I know from being with you over those years and us being in the Sangha together, how it's really supported us both, and everyone who deepens into this practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the love of and support of people.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and that those edges, or it's I guess it's where we grow, where we deepen.
Yeah,
thankfully.
Painfully. And beautifully. Yeah.
And beautifully. Yeah. Thank you for
Thank you, Josh.
being on the path with us, with me.
The long walk.
That
was the long walk. That was the performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Josh.
No, hi.
Hi. Yeah, my heart's beating. It's hard, quite scary to speak in front of everyone, but it's funny you should be talking about this. I'm just really, and I have for a long time, struggling with regret.
Right.
Quite painful. And funny that Karen should say that I just saw on Facebook a picture of me, age 23, in Kathmandu at Kopan Monastery, sort of looking down, studying a book. And I thought, where did she go?
Yeah.
I had my whole life ahead of me. And now, I'm just struggling with a lot of regret.
You can really feel it coming across this evening, and I really appreciate your courage in just naming it, because I think it's something that we all will feel at some point, and meet and work with and live with.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're quite tender towards that part of the experience that you're experiencing.
Sometimes. Sometimes. I'd rather not have it. I'd rather it went away. But I guess it's like how to be with it, really, how to be with regret. I guess it's about just being kind. Yeah, as I speak to you, I think it's just about, well, I am where I am in my life. I've done what I've done, and I haven't done what I haven't done. And what to do, really, what to do.
Maybe the first is to, for us to turn towards whatever it is, which sounds like what you're doing. You're feeling it. You're embracing it.
Yeah. I guess I am. Yeah, I guess I am.
Well, just to come and avow it this evening, is a big thing, big thing. And I think Flint last week said, there's sometimes maybe helpful regret where, there's something that is something we can work with, and there's some regret that isn't helpful. And I wonder if there's something about finding what it is that is actually we're turning towards.
You mean the helpful regret as opposed to the beating up regret?
Just remembering what he said last week and thinking about it.
I wasn't here last week.
There may be things we wish we hadn't done, but sometimes there's a kind of mystery about the journey that the young woman you saw took, and the fact that you're here now, actually exploring it, is a really beautiful thing and powerful thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I put my hand down too quickly. Sorry.
Okay.
Do you need me to? Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Good
Hi.
to be here with you, and thanks so much for stepping in. And what a wonderful thing to pose in terms of that. When we were talking, when people have been talking about it, and the thing of looking at ourselves, our young selves, and saying, you had no idea what was going to be coming, what you are becoming. And the thing is, we still don't know what's coming. But one of the wonderful things about the teachings, about the practice, is that we aren't trying to mold it ahead of time as much as I did as a young person anyway. It's like, I would look at what I knew from behind me and so on, and try to shape where I was going. And now I can have intentions, but I'm not wearing myself out trying to have an exact idea of it. And it's like each day is full of huge possibilities. And one of the things I really appreciate about Sangha, about inquiry in particular, is one of the places that we're able to really hear and see from each other's lives as well. So we have more, because of the way we share, that we have more opportunity to look at things through different in those little reframing is gifted to us in many ways anytime we share what it is we're experiencing. And yes, aging is a definite aspect of recognizing a lot of those things. And I really appreciate that I now, both where I'm living in assisted living and in our wonderful broad Sangha that we're able to be, that there are people who are older than I am. Because I'm in my late 70s, which, is getting there, but there's other people's experiences and perspectives on it that really are useful to me and give me a great joy in terms of what this day, what the next day, wherever I am, will bring. Because the joy of stretching ourselves is amazing. It's one of the most exciting things about life. And to have other people's stuff, when I bump into something that's hard for me, that they've had a similar experience and can share, is quite beautiful.
Yeah, what you're sharing really touches my heart, because I think it feels you're sharing some of the essences of inquiry, which is always to be open to the next possibility. and also be open to surprise in terms of whether we like it or not. It's good. There are going to be surprises, and it, there's something about the agility of that you're talking about in meeting those things, which I love.
And what we give each other in the refuge of Sangha. In terms of those things that might be a little scary or that you don't quite know how to think about as it's happening to you or something, that is an important part too. In just another thing I wanted to say, because the word awe kept coming up today several times, and it's a word I think about a lot because awe is an amazing experience. And yet we have this word that we use all the time. It's called awful. And it means almost exactly the opposite of open to an amazing possibility. And what we use, how we use the word awful. So that's just something I was pondering on today. It's like, how did that happen? Yeah.
Yeah, we can open ourselves to awfulness, which has a different meaning from awful. I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, yes.
So much.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Hello.
So, yeah, I love the shy 27-year-old, and I love the not so shy 73-year-old. And I was thinking a lot about that, the word of Zen, what does that mean to say a word of Zen? And I was thinking how much I find the kind of Dharma in the world, not just in the writings of Zen teachers, and the word of Zen being something wholehearted.
Yes. Yeah.
What can you say that's wholehearted? And I've cherished for a long time Flint's, if you've only got 20%, be wholeheartedly 20%. There's something about that kind of sense of like just doing what you can in that moment with whatever it is you've got, which might not be much, but can we offer it wholeheartedly? And then I was just thinking about a poem. There was a poem I'd written about names and who I was, but it reminded me of a poem that's by someone called Taryn Neergaard. And it's called I Have Been 1,000 Different Women. Make peace with all the women you once were. Lay flowers at their feet. Offer them incense and honey and forgiveness. Honor them and give them your silence. Listen. Bless them and let them be. For they are the bones of the temple you sit in now. For they are the rivers of wisdom leading you towards the sea. So I think just for me, that deep celebration that our whole lives are the bones of the temples we sit in right now. And some of us are Parthenons and falling apart, and some of us are rather grand. But whatever kind of temple we are, to know that we couldn't be anything other than exactly what we are now without every single thing that's happened before.
I love that poem, and it points to kind of what I sometimes, when I see photographs of people from the past, and I think, oh, you sweetheart, you were just doing your best at any given moment, with what you had. And I really like what you said about finding it in the world, And I think, in a way, the word of Zen from a Zen monastery in the 8th century is translatable as an appropriate response.
Mm. Save the cats.
Yeah. So what's an appropriate response in the situations we meet?
I'll put the name of the poem in the chat. I can't copy it. It won't let me copy and paste, but I'll put the name of it in the chat. Thank you.
See you in a few minutes' time.
Last thing for us here.
Hi, Cassie. Hi.
There we are. I just wanted to bow and share my appreciation. You and Trudy are such a treasure. And I was just feeling that so much that I put it in the chat, and then I decided maybe I needed to say it out loud from my own body, and and for you to feel it that way too.
I'm taking it in. Thank you. And I feel very, what I felt tonight is really supported by everyone. It's been a joy. I really appreciate your kind words, your generosity.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So true of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
So I think in a few moments we'll move to the closing verses. Thank you very much for us all hanging on in there together this evening, and I hope Joel's connections work for him soon. And thank you so much. So let's go to the 4 practice principles, please. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Jessica, for your managing of the situation, and I'll hand over to you now. Thank you.
Wow, Josh and Trudy, all of you, Sangha, thank you so much. What a beautiful example of Sangha as the teacher. I've placed contribution links in the chat if you'd like to make a financial contribution to either Appamada or just this Zen. Mahalo. Have a wonderful day. Or night. And Maria, looking for you now. If you can, stay after and have a chat with Maria. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer Dharma, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.